Iran launched a massive nighttime missile attack on Israel. According to the Israeli Defense Command, hundreds of missiles and drones were fired within a few hours, approaching from several directions simultaneously. Most were intercepted by the Iron Dome system, but some missiles broke through the defenses. The authorities imposed military censorship on both the locations of the strikes and the scale of the damage. One of the drones also struck the area of the US consulate in Dubai. According to the United Arab Emirates authorities, the building was damaged, but there is no information about casualties among the diplomatic staff.
The drone unfortunately struck a parking lot adjacent to the Chancellery building and set off a fire in that place. All personnel are accounted for. As you're aware, we began drawing down personnel from our diplomatic facilities in advance of this. In the cases, for example, of Beirut, we basically drew down to bare bones, as well as in Baghdad and in Erbil and in a couple other posts as well. So we've been very fortunate, obviously, but our embassies and our diplomatic facilities are under direct attack from a terroristic regime.
The remains of a Tehran 2 drone were also found at the site. According to local authorities, Cyrillic inscriptions are visible on the fragments of the structure, and some of the markings correspond to those used on drones manufactured for export to Russian armed forces.
Night was kind of really scary because it was very unusual. I've lived here for 22 years, and we never thought this would happen. We never experienced something like this.
Israel responded the same night. Combat aircraft carried out another series of airstrikes on Tehran, hitting facilities linked to the security apparatus and the regime's command structures. Further massive attacks continued in waves throughout the day. After 100 hours of fighting, the Israeli Defense Forces are continuing their operations. We started strong and are maintaining the pace of the operation. We are operating according to a structured combat plan in close coordination and cooperation with the US military. We still have many targets and tasks ahead of us. In the coming days, we will move on to the next stages of the operation and intensify our strikes against the regime's structures. According to unofficial information, the son of the slain Ayatollah, Mojtaba Khamenei, is to become the new spiritual leader of Iran. He became widely known in 2008 when it came to light that he had been eavesdropping on his father and building a network of influence in the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. He was described by American intelligence as being the eminence grise of Tehran. Preparations are underway in the Iranian capital for the three-day funeral ceremonies for the killed Ayatollah. The authorities have announced the participation of hundreds of thousands of people and delegations from countries allied with Tehran. The ceremonies are to take place in several locations in the city and will be broadcast on state television. It is not known whether Israel and the United States plan to suspend airstrikes during the ceremonies. At the same time, Washington admits that most of the leader's potential successors are dead.
Well, most of the people we had in mind are dead. So, we had some in mind from that group that is dead. And now we have another group, they may be dead also, based on reports. So I guess you have a third wave coming in. Pretty soon we're not going to know anybody.
The conflict itself extends beyond the Middle East. The Iranian frigate IRIS Dena sank off Sri Lanka. There were about 180 sailors on board. Some of the crew were rescued by Sri Lankan services, but many people are still missing. About 30 sailors were seriously injured. Reports indicate that there were about 180 people on board the vessel. The vessel was hunted down by an American submarine, which is the first such attack by the US Navy since the end of World War II.
In fact, yesterday, in the Indian Ocean, and we'll play it on the screen there, an American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death.
New details are emerging about one of the most spectacular incidents of this war. The Army of Kuwait confirmed that 3 American F-15 fighter jets were shot down by a Kuwaiti FA-18 Hornet during an air defense operation over the Gulf. According to the military, there was a misidentification of targets in the midst of very intense air combat, with aircraft from several countries operating in the same space, and missiles and drones appearing on radar at the same time. All the pilots managed to eject and were found by rescue services.
You're safe. Everything good?
In under a week, the two most powerful air forces in the world will have complete control of Iranian skies, uncontested airspace. I hope all the folks watching understand what uncontested airspace and complete control means. It means we will fly all day, all night, day and night, finding, fixing, and finishing the missiles and defense industrial base of the Iranian military.
At the same time, there are reports of preparations for new actions on land. According to media reports, the CIA has begun arming Kurdish troops that could be used in operations in Iran. Details of this operation have not been officially confirmed by the US authorities. It is known that other Gulf countries want actively to join the war.
So I'm here to tell you the good news for me is I think the regional partners, the Arab partners, are going to be more involved, not less. They're not going to break. They're going to get in the fight in a more direct way. And Iran made a major miscalculation by attacking Kuwait and Qatar and Saudi Arabia. The countries now are more intent than ever to end the threat forever.
More European forces are also being sent to the region. French President Emmanuel Macron has announced the deployment of a French aircraft carrier and its escort to the war zone. According to Paris, this is to strengthen the presence of European forces and secure operations in the region.
Face à cette situation instable,
in view of this unstable situation and the uncertainty of the coming days, I have ordered the aircraft carrier Charles de Gaulle, with its air wing and escort frigates, to set course for the Mediterranean. Against the backdrop of the conflict, tensions between the Allies are also emerging. US President Donald Trump sharply criticized Spain after it refused to allow American tanker planes to take off from its territory. Washington considers this decision to be an obstruction of military operations in the region.